And welcome to Creator Weekly Live for September 29th, 2024. I'm Peggy Kay, and today I'm going to talk about this big dispute between WordPress and WP Engine. There is a new tool where AdSense can help you figure out why your ads aren't showing. TikTok has opened up subscriptions to more creators. You can use NotebookLM to create summaries of your YouTube videos, and Google Photos has updated its video editor, and maybe more if we have time. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to see you here in the live chat. Please say hello and let me know what you think about this week's updates. I know some of you are in areas affected by Hurricane Helene. I hope everything's okay where you are and didn't have too much damage or power outages or problems. Really, really terrible video that I've been seeing. So let's get started. And I want to talk a little bit about this big dispute between WP Engine and WordPress. And it's a lot of drama. I'm not going to go through every detail because it would take me the entire half hour. I've got more details in this week's newsletter and blog post. There are links in the video description. So this week, what is ostensibly a trademark dispute kind of burst into public view. And my impression is that this is an issue that has been developing for a while and it just hasn't been public. So first, let me give some background about who the parties are. There's the WordPress Foundation, which is a nonprofit that supports the open source WordPress project. You can access the WordPress project files and everything at wordpress.org. So if you wanted to install WordPress on your server, you could go get the files there and you could do that. There's also the company Automatic, which owns WordPress.com. Now, WordPress.com is paid WordPress hosting and services. And Automatic also contributes to the WordPress Foundation. And I believe all of these variants are headed up by Matt Mullenweg. So that's the sort of big picture here. WP Engine is a big company that offers managed WordPress and related services. And it's very popular. It does this for enterprise, for big businesses, and they have services that get resold. So they have smaller companies that use their services, and then that gets reused, sold on to customers. And so that's the basics. It started when Matt Mullenweg, he was talking at WordCamp, which is their big convention, and then posted on the WordPress.org blog that there was confusion between WordPress and WP Engine, and WP Engine is infringing on their trademarks on WordPress, WooCommerce, and some other trademarks. So that seems to be the core of the dispute. But Mullenweg also goes on to complain that WP Engine isn't giving enough time and resources to the WordPress open source project. This is not mandatory, but it's sort of like being a good citizen, and really complained that it chooses to limit some features in the version of WordPress that it sets up for people, for its customers. And just to be really clear, I mean, this is not business speak at all. Basically, I'm not even basically, literally, what he wrote is that what WP Engine gives you is not WordPress. It's something that they've chopped up, hacked butchered to look like WordPress, but actually they're giving you a cheap knockoff and charging you more for it. This is one of the many reasons that they are a cancer to WordPress. And it's important to remember that unchecked, cancer will spread. Then goes on to say that they're setting a poor example. This, tell us what you really think, Matt. And this, of course, is bad because it's telling people not only that there's this trademark dispute, but that WP Engine is like a cancer on WordPress. It actually says you should go get your services from someone else. And it is complicated by the fact that Matt Mullenweg, who's writing this on behalf of WordPress.org, the open source version of WordPress, is also the head of WordPress.com, which sells similar services to WP Engine. So it's really complicated. And WP Engine sent them a cease and desist because this is going beyond just saying that we have this dispute. This is actually disparaging them. And it gets crazier from there. So I want to say quickly, jump in and say hello to everybody who is in the chat today. I see Craig and Jolyn and Andrew and Nina. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'd love to know what you guys think about this week's updates and this whole controversy. Andrew says that it erupted, definitely erupted. So Nina says hi. And Jolyn says that she's not a fan of WordPress. So that's where you guys all stand. It's really difficult to be objective about all this. WordPress powers something like 47% of the internet. So this is significant. Even if you don't get your services through WP Engine, this dispute could spill over to other service providers as well. So people are watching this closely. And just to go on, so we're at the point where WP Engine sent a cease and desist to WordPress.org and Matt Mullenweg. And of course, he doubled down. They banned WP Engine from accessing WordPress.org servers. Now, what's interesting is that WordPress is open source. You can take all of the files and host them on your own servers. And you don't need WordPress.org at all, presumably. But it's a lot more smooth if companies can actually access some things from WordPress.org. What we're talking about is things like the theme directory, being able to easily update the plugins, photo directory, the user login system, various additional things. So WordPress said, nope, you can no longer access these, and they blocked WP Engine completely. So this is terrible for WP Engine's customers. They don't know what's happening, and WP Engine hasn't really said much. There was a lot of upset people online, and WordPress kind of responded to that by saying, oh, well, now we're going to give WP Engine a reprieve until October 1st, which is Tuesday, to get everything all set up on their own servers so they don't need to use ours. This is obviously a huge thing to do. They are probably scrambling over the weekend. But what's interesting is that WP Engine has been pretty silent about this, whereas Matt has not. And he posted on his own personal blog. Where is Lee Wittlinger? Lee Wittlinger is the managing director of Silver Lake, which is the company that owns WP Engine. It's like calling out Lee Wittlinger, debate me online. It's just crazy stuff. Matt wrote, I'm replying on Twitter. I'm commenting on Reddit and Hacker News. I'm dropping into live streams with the Prime Again and WP Minute. I'm talking to journalists whenever they reach out. I'm happy to go on any large, credible podcast or show to discuss these issues. And, to me, as a bystander, this is crazy. Why are you trying to deal with this business dispute on Twitter, on Hacker News, on Reddit? These guys need to get into a room and talk to each other, probably with their attorneys present. And it's been kind of wild. If you follow Matt Mullenweg on Twitter, you can see he's posting a lot about this and resharing tweets a lot about this. The whole thing is blowing up, and it all seems extremely personal to Matt anyway. And, there's no reason to post these really vitriolic blog posts criticizing WP Engine's business model when that actually isn't the dispute. WordPress is open source, and they can modify WordPress if they want and give that to their customers. That's within the terms, as I understand it. So this whole thing has been totally crazy, and people are starting to question why Matt Mullenweg is the head of all these things. Why is he the head of the business side where they're selling WordPress services and the nonprofit that's running the open source project? Why is he taking all this on? What's happening here? So I think we're going to hear more about this in the coming week, probably coming weeks, and hopefully they get it sorted out. But it's rotten for the customers of WP Engine who have to decide whether they need to transfer their websites to other services or what they should do exactly. So I think there's going to be a cautionary tale here about too many eggs in one basket where everyone relies on WordPress, and WordPress is run by Matt, and it can change at his whim, is what it feels like. So we'll see what happens. Now, there are a bunch of other updates that I will go through today. And the first one I want to mention is for people with their own website or blog that is monetized with AdSense. There is a brand new troubleshooter in the AdSense Help Center. It's the AdSense ads not showing troubleshooter. It's just what it says. You have to be signed into your AdSense account when you access it. And then as you go through the troubleshooter, it actually asks you, okay, which website from your account are you having trouble with, where ads aren't showing? And it will actually do a review and provide advice on how you can fix your ad serving issues. And just to note, this is only when you have AdSense on your own website or blog. It is not AdSense on your YouTube channel. If you're having trouble with AdSense on your YouTube channel, you can contact YouTube Creator Support from inside YouTube Studio. And just noting, you can select which website that you want. Going back to the discussion about WordPress situation, Andrew notes that Matt is upset that his word is no longer seen as coming down from on high as it used to be, considering the blowback he got with Gutenberg being introduced too early. Yeah. So that is true. There have been a lot of other criticisms of the way Matt has been managing WordPress, including the updates, to the way he set up the layouts with Gutenberg and so forth. There's a lot going on here. And it's just so ugly when it spills out into the public like this. They need to figure out how to deal with this that doesn't involve Matt posting over and over on social media, which is just not the way to do it. All right, so just a few other updates today. The next one I wanted to mention is there are new video editing features in the Google Photos app. Now, if you use camera on your phone to shoot video. It's nice to be able to do things like stabilize it and trim the ends and, basically enhance the way it looks. And Google Photos is making that easier. In this update, there's an updated trimming tool to make it easier to cut out the clips that you want. There's a new auto enhance button that lets you enhance colors and stabilize your videos with just one click. There's a new speed tool that lets you make things faster or slower, so you can make things slow motion. And they say there is also a new AI-powered video preset option. This is on both Android and iOS. And this is supposed to, and I'm quoting, help you get great edited videos with minimal effort. So you can have these preset buttons to automatically trim the video, adjust the lighting, control the speed, apply effects. There's effects like dynamic motion tracking, so it can kind of detect who the main subject of the video is and track that, zooming in on the main action and things like that. So there's a whole bunch of new video editing tools in Google Photos. You should check those out. They're rolling out now. They may not be available to everyone yet. Over on TikTok, they are expanding subscriptions. So more creators can enable subscriptions on their account. These are paid subscriptions where people pay the creator and then get access to perks like private chats or exclusive content, special Discord servers, things like that. So this is expanding to more creators. Originally, it was only for people who are live streaming on TikTok. Now it's for people who post videos on demand as well. So that's a nice thing for TikTok creators. And then the other really big update this week was Meta's announcements at Meta Connect. This is a developer conference. The big thing that's getting most of the buzz at Meta Connect are these Orion glasses that they have. These look sort of mostly like a prototype at the moment, but they're great big glasses, and they are augmented reality glasses where you can like see things on the screen. You have to actually carry a little puck that has the processor in it separately, but it's really cool. It's sort of like what I had hoped Google Glass would be, which was before its time. This looks really cool, and it'll be really interesting to see how these develop and whether they can actually make a consumer product from that, because right now apparently they cost like $10,000 or something, but it's pretty neat technology. But the other set of updates they announced were all around using AI. Not a huge surprise, but there are a few features I wanted to mention that I thought were particularly interesting. The first is automatic translation and dubbing of reels with lip syncing. So the idea is you have your reel in English and you want it to be in Spanish and use this tool. And it not only makes it look like, it makes it look like you're talking in Spanish. So they are testing this first in the US and Latin America, and you can translate back and forth between English and Spanish. It's really kind of an interesting thing. YouTube has a similar tool that seems more advanced, more developed. When YouTube talked about it last week, week before last, they're talking about multiple languages and making theirs available to more creators in the coming year. So we may see this from YouTube first. I am really kind of torn about it. First of all, I hesitate to translate what I'm saying into another language that I don't speak because I have no way to proof it to make sure it doesn't say something really stupid. And I just get this sense of creepiness making people's lips move the way they didn't actually move. So we'll see how this actually looks in practice, but this is what Meta is working on. This would be available in Reels. The other thing that they are working on, I should say, is available. If you use Meta AI, you can upload your own photos and then use text to edit them. So you can upload the photo of your goat, like here, and you can say, oh, make the goat on a surfboard and give the goat a hat, things like that. So you can edit your own photos that way. This seems like could be kind of fun, but like all AI tools, it has potential for misuse, I think, too. So, and the other update is that if you share a photo to a story, I think this is on both Facebook and Instagram, there is an option to generate a background. This is kind of nice, right? This is not replacing your photo, it's just giving it a nice background. So the other thing that they talked about is that when you're on Instagram or Facebook, you may see posts from Meta in your feed with suggested generative AI prompts you can use. They really, really, really want you to use their generative AI tools. Really. And so you may see more of this. You may see these posts from Meta saying that you should do it. They're also developing chat options with creators. So basically AI bots that are pretending to be creators. And they already have some launching with some celebrities, and they demonstrated video chat with a creator avatar. And we'll see how that goes. It again, a lot of this just feels kind of creepy to me, but maybe we'll get used to it. So those are the really big updates this week. There's a bunch more, and I'm just going to give a plug to subscribe to my newsletter. You can subscribe on Beehive, and you get a free email every Saturday with all of the links to news and updates and tips. It's really good. You should subscribe. You can also see the version on my blog. There is a link in the video description. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is an update to NotebookLM. And have any of you used NotebookLM? I'd love to hear about it. I know Nina is in the chat and she has used that. And I have tried it. NotebookLM is a tool from Google where you can upload your own documents, PDF files, Google Docs, links to websites, and now you can upload audio files and link to YouTube videos. And the idea is that you've got this notebook and you can then ask Gemini to do things like create outlines and summaries and discussion topics based just on the information that you uploaded into your notebook. So it's not going on the whole web. This is personalized to the documents that you've uploaded. It's really a pretty cool tool if you haven't tried it. This new feature with YouTube lets you put in a link to any public YouTube video and then have it generate a summary, an outline. I tried it with last week's video, and you can see the results again in this week's post. There's a link in the description. it has this neat audio overview feature where it generates an overview of their content, and the output is two people talking. This is AI generated, so it's sort of like a podcast, and it's kind of scary good. You can listen, these two people talking to each other. Oh, this is what it says. Oh, we should talk about this. It sounds really natural, and I don't know what to do with it exactly. I kind of feel like, should I just be generating these audio overviews and upload those? I don't know. Maybe I'll try that, but it's really cool. And if you haven't tried it, give it a try and see what you think. I think this is extremely useful for summarizing YouTube videos. It doesn't have to be your video. It can be any public video. You can get an overview and an outline, which is really, really useful. So those are the updates for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's see what people are saying. Nina says, I haven't tried the new feature yet. Very interesting podcast option. I'd use that for client announcements. So just a note, for reasons that I don't know, you might not want to use it for client announcements because it's like two people kind of jokingly talking to each other. It's very much people chatting rather than it being a formal announcement. But you should give it a try and see how it turns out. Andrew says, it adds a new dimension to personal research. It really does. It really does. And my sense is that there is less problem with hallucination because it's limiting itself to the documents that you've provided. Of course, there's always the possibility it will just make something up, but you can do that. And Jillian says that she has just started using NotebookLM and will let you know my progress. Yeah, give it a try, see what you think of it. It's a really powerful tool, and I think it better showcases what Gemini can do than a lot of the things like in Google search, when a lot of times it's really not right. But limiting it to the documents you provide is really, really useful. And I'm going to say thank you all who have subscribed to my newsletter. I really do appreciate it. It really is nice to me that I can see people are reading it every week. So those are the updates this week. As some of you know, there's another live stream on eBoard. The other channel, there will be a redirect at the end of the video if you want to go over there. This week's topic is SEO with our guest, Molly Youngblood. So please join us over there as well if you have the time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.